This conference will now be recorded.
Justin's going to say something. Brian's dad that works for electric department village. Well, we've been back and forth a few times over a post office. They lock and break with the post office. Everybody has to go to.
You know that you can always email me. It's like,
Don't get me confused.
Rick,
People are-
you can just email me and say, oh, blah, 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 blah.
No, some people are like,
Okay.
oh, you misspelled this word on my. People are generally no.
Oh, no, you can't, because I have to put this in the minutes for, somebody in 2020, 2045 to look at them,
Yes,
right?
yes, so this was a very,
So,
I can refer
it's
to.
better to have it correct.
And I think, I
Just
don't want you to be dishonest, but I think you should allude to the fact that these meetings are well attended. Every month. They're almost like a.
Like, we don't have enough chairs?
They are at
capacity.
capacity.
They're at capacity now.
Oh, it's true, it's really a dog. Oh, Mr. Duck.
Mr.
Our reindeer?
We're on course.
Where does?
So they can hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Town Board of Town of North Elba. Please rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we get into our late presentations, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes from our November 9th meeting.
So,
Come on, don't everybody jump up.
Second,
All right, any further discussion?
I gave Lori like a small little snippet for the record.
All right, you got
I
it.
caught it.
All in favor? Aye. No one opposed, carried.
I'm going to abstain since I was absent.
Because you weren't believing what you were reading.
Oh, I totally believe what I'm reading.
He always does.
All right. We welcome this team back again. I think we improve on things every time we get together. This year, I'd like to mention, I especially like getting the information that you guys got to look at. We got to review as well. It really helps us in this presentation when you present to us, so we're more ready to accept what you're going to put in front of us. So anyway, with that being said, MJ, fire away.
I will be first. Okay. Hi everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
I am sort of presenting you two of the things that we thought were great to move forward with. The Lake Placid School District came and asked us again for help in improving their facilities. What they wanted to, what they would like to invest in this time is down at the Horseshoe Ground athletic fields. They want to put in covered benches for the athletes, but they're movable and on wheels. They have them in Saranac Lake if you've ever been to those fields. We thought that would be a great addition, both for visitors and for our local students. It's really a nice mix because both use that field pretty heavily. We didn't recommend the entire amount that they had asked for. They had asked for $64,000 for 4 of the units. We had recommended $30,000 for 2 units instead, and we did that for a couple of reasons. The main reason was that the school always comes asking for the full amount. They have done that 3 times now, and we have given it 3 times. But for something like this specifically, we thought it would be kind of like a gimme in terms of fundraising, and I think that we definitely want to support them, but we would like to see them also willing to contribute to the things that they asked for.
Fair enough.
So we recommended 30,000. The original ask was 64. We recommended 30 for 2 of them, thinking that either they could just move forward with 2, or hopefully they will raise the additional money to get the full 4.
Jen, do you know if they're identical to Saranac Lakes and they're a unit that will hold up, so we'll get some years out of them?
I believe that is true. We can definitely find out and ask. I think it was Stuart Helmsley is the one who put together this application.
Yeah.
But he's pretty quality oriented person.
Yeah.
So we didn't really too much look into the different brands or models,
Right.
but when we did research online, his pricing tallied right up with what we saw. And he obviously has a lot of experience with those different types of things, having coached for, ever. So,
Or they can just get one for the whole team.
well, that's what we suggested also. We're like, how about just one and the rest can,
That would be nice.
Yeah, we said, let's go back. If it's enough money, we get one.
Yeah,
We did.
exactly. So what we're hoping is that they will go for all 4 and do a fundraising campaign, but you can certainly work with 2. That was kind of our thought process
Good.
on that one. And the second one that I'm presenting is the Saranac Lake Civic Center. As you guys know, they just completely redid their facility. It looks beautiful. We had already given them a $50,000 grant in fall of 2002 for the elevator, which I was just there this weekend. I spent a lot of time there. The place looks amazing. What they need the money for is to insulate the roof, and that is really to keep the building more efficient, have it operate more efficiently all summer. Again, it's a building that is used both by our local people and also the visitors of the community, so it felt that it was a really nice balance for this money. Their total project was $143,000. They only asked for 71, which is something that we've seen pretty consistently for them. They have definitely utilized other funding mechanisms. We suggested funding 35,000, and honestly, mostly that was just because our budget was reduced and we wanted to, we kind of wanted to spread the wealth, and it was sort of a large amount. They definitely said in their application that they could move forward with partial funding, so I suspect that they will just go raise the rest of the money that they need in the community.
As you can guess, I can't say enough great about Saranac Lake Civic Center.
Yeah.
Because they're part of all winter being more efficient with more Can-Am hockey games, more public skating, all around. Our local hockey teams, girls and men's, 50% is over there. So I think they add to our whole region.
My son is there right now.
Yeah.
Especially since the teams are combined.
Right.
They do like our local youth sports, half of their practices are there and half are in Lake Placid ever since we combined the team. So it really is utilized pretty heavily by the locals as well as, like Derek said, Can-Am and the other routes of the organization.
Perfect. Great.
Any questions?
Thank you, Jen.
No,
That's great. Val's gonna go next. Just getting all my stuff. Okay.
Hey, Val.
Hi, how is everybody?
Good.
So I have 2 to present. One is the Adirondack Carousel, and the other is a Saranac Lake Winter Carnival. I'll start with a carousel. They're asking $5,000 for a gear for the carousel itself. The current one is 11 years old, and we thought it was great. They're actually being proactive and want to have the gear in stock, so when it does break, your time will be short, and they don't have to wait for the part to arrive. It's there, and since it is 11 years old, it might be getting to that point. So the 5K is $3,500 for the part itself, and they were estimating $1,500 for the installation. So we recommended the full 5K on that one.
How does that work when there's installation fees and it's a spare? If they don't put it in for like 3 years, do you carry
Well, I guess they would have that in the budget to use to pay, and if it's more, then they would have to figure out the balance.
Just carry over the general fund.
Yeah. And they did say in their application, they have one of their volunteers is pretty skilled in maintenance, so I don't know if that's where, and he could probably, or he or she, I shouldn't assume it's he, should be able to help or aid in that, and yeah, so yeah, it's nice to see somebody being proactive. The second one was the Winter Carnival Committee. They have a warming hut, a history/warming hut that they set up for Carnival. And they wanted to put a defibrillator in there for obvious reasons in case somebody has a heart attack and they need to resuscitate. So we all thought that was a great idea. Their ask is $2,020, and that's for the part, and there was a $25 fee, I think. And that was the total quote, was the 2020. They say they put the hut in a few days before Carnival starts, and it stays there until the palace is torn down, and it sets up by the palace. But they also talk about having it in place while they're building the palace. So I'm not quite sure how that works, but just having it there so the workers that are building the palace, it would be available there as well. And then they also talked about moving it to the end of the parade route as a possibility too. So, but we just thought the possibility of saving a life for $2,000 is pretty much a no-brainer.
And think of response time with thousands of people.
Exactly,
around.
yeah, and they said their estimate was 10,000 people going through that hut. So if you save one, great. If you save more than that, great. If you don't, even better, if you don't have to use it. So
Good direction on both counts.
yeah, and we had one member who said his wife just had one installed, and so he's definitely understanding the importance of the technology. So those are my two. Any
Very good.
questions on either?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. How are we? I'm presenting two projects today. The first one is the search and rescue for the Northern Adirondacks. We thought this was a bit of a no-brainer. However, you might have noticed that the seminar date was early November. We believed this was a small investment for a terrific thing they can tackle next year. So this was about tackling mental health challenges for first responders in terms of people that they respond to, and also helping to address the pretty considerable stresses that rangers and first responders suffer in their work on a daily or nightly basis. So we thought this was a great concept, and we hope this is a good investment in another such seminar. Okay.
Very good.
The local ambulance supervisor attended this year's.
Oh,
He's raving about it.
Oh,
fantastic, fantastic. We thought this was a no-brainer. The next project I'm talking about is the Shipman Youth Center kitchen upgrade. We actually, given the fact that we funded some other projects there, we went to the essential, and given the fact that we had some other projects that were sort of competing with this in terms of priorities, we went for the funding of the emergency doors, which we thought was a high priority for them. The thought is there was a bit of a back of the napkin calculation here for the cost. Secondly, once they get some momentum, we understand this is an aesthetic project, whereas the kitchen is used. This wasn't sort of necessary, but if they get some momentum on fundraising and make some progress on the project, they can come back to us at a different point and ask for funding.
Very good.
Okay, so the recommendation was just for the 6,000 for the emergency doors.
Perfect.
Okay? Thank you. Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks, guys.
Hello.
Yeah.
Lovely. How are you guys?
Very good.
So I have two more projects to present today. I'm going to start with the Rail Trail Association. They were asking for funding to install data collection units at multiple points on the trail. that will track pedestrian, cyclist, snowmobile, et cetera, sort of on-off density and what the trail use is. We talked about this one actually quite a lot. We connected with them to learn more about the proposed hardware that they're putting in and whether or not it was cold resistant and XYZW. So we felt very comfortable recommending this project. It's really exciting to actually have data starting from the beginning of a project instead of 10 years later. So while we were debating whether or not this should be funded over other things, that was actually something we did talk about.
Could you explain, like in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, what it looks like, how they collect it?
So it's a motion sensor, to the best of my understanding, and anyone else from the committee, feel free to speak to this. I don't know a lot about trail cams, but essentially it's going to sort of click on and use your rate of speed to determine what activity you're doing.
So it's just catching the motion.
But it will discern between like a cyclist and a snowmobile.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's the same stuff, you know.
Yes.
And, you know, that's the thing. It's not just motion. It can decipher speed.
Yeah. So the data can be used for safety applications, future grant funding options, et cetera. You can know if you want to be partnering more closely with the Snowmobile Association or, you know, with Ironman Recycling. Who knows what you want to go with, but without the data, it's very hard to make future asks.
I think this is probably one of the most important ones. The trail is amazing. Just, but this is the first winter with it, just to see how between skiers, snowmobilers, and so on and so forth. Make sure everyone is
using it. And really, the idea is the faster you can get it in there, the faster you can start collecting the data. You can see sort of the ramp up of how people start using it, its growth over time. So we did think also that this was very valuable. We did not choose to fund fully, only because if you look in the budget byline, they wrote in some staff costs, which really should be covered by the organization. The ask was $13,564. We subtracted those staff costs, and our recommendation is $12,370.
It's pretty close.
So basically, all of the materials.
Perfect.
Super. Very excited about that. I haven't been yet. I'm very excited to go. Awesome. Another one that, to use Matt's words, we thought was a little bit of a no-brainer. Really exciting. The Adirondack Speed Skating Club came to us for the first time, looking for additional skates and suits, much like the ski jumping program. These equipment items are deeply, deeply specialized. You cannot just go out and purchase one if you want your child to start the sport. And without keeping these clubs sort of supporting with that equipment cost, you are creating a barrier to entry, and you cannot have community participation. Right now, this program, I believe, is free or close to free. And this expansion will allow even more participation, you know, with the community schools or an X or a Y or Z. So we thought that this was a great proposal, and we recommended the full grant of $10,000.
Very good.
Questions?
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Last two.
Yeah.
One is the Mount Pisgah.
Front page.
Yeah. Do you need to go over it, or are we good on this
No,
one?
we read the articles. They're whelming. We read the articles.
That's a wrap. We thought it was a good one. Apparently, everybody here did too as well. The other one that I'm presenting is the Adirondack Mountain Club is doing a university accessible lean-to at the campground at Heart Lake. We think that this is very important for both the community members and the travelers. Being accessible to outdoor activities in our region is imperative to the sustainability of our tourism and to diversify so that more people can enjoy what we have, as well as people that live in the community. They requested $20,000 and we are recommending $14,400. We did back out the labor on their grant application. And I think that is it for the second round of 2023 LEAF grant applications for the town's approval. Those are our recommendations.
Which one, the OSI? Which one you pointing at?
The rescue,
The rescue?
reconditioning ambulance.
And open space that were on there.
Yeah.
So there's still two.
Or did we miss two?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where are we saying?
OSI and the Saranac Lake Rescue Squad.
Who's AM on our?
Oh, Andrew.
Oh, Andrew Mill.
Don't see him here.
Matt?
You're not
What
on the
was it, open
spot,
space,
but-
Emma?
Open space, and the volunteer rescue squad.
Remember the volunteer rescue squad, we were very impressed that they came to us to refurb a unit instead of replacing it. Every other ask we've gotten has been a full replacement or an upgrade, whether or not it was warranted in a maintenance cycle. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but we were really impressed.
I've got all of
With
it
this.
here and I probably have it on my notes.
Yeah. In regards to the rail trail, Open Space Institute is a behemoth. They have a lot of funding behind them, but they make very smart investments in visitor friendly trailheads. They did I don't know if you have been down to Howes and Newcomb to see the trailhead down there, the Upper Hudson trailhead. Beautiful stuff. It's with historical markers. They just know how to make smart investments and really carry out smart projects, especially for trailheads. It's a great sort of marquee for this rail trail. So we felt like this was a good investment for $50,000. Secondly, unlike a lot of applications, they had a ton of leverage. They had their own funding and other funders in the mix, which we thought was pretty important.
Ironically, OSI even reached out to both the village and the town highway crews for help for in-kind type services. We're still not sure just to what level we can help, but if it fits within the realm of our spare time, we'll be involved at that capacity as well.
So I believe that their request was for 50,000 and we recommend the full amount. And then for the,
And total project cost, Mary Jane, was 838,541.
Yeah.
And they requested.
838,000. So
Just
Parking lot.
parking lot at the Historical Society.
yes. Yeah. And then the ambulance, they,
They're just shy of 180,000.
yeah, and they're asking 28,458 and we recommended the full amount. Is that 58 or 68? 58. That's what happens when you have your classes. Anyhow, you make up numbers. Sorry, I apologize that we missed those
Oh, it's
two.
fine. If that's the worst thing that happens today, it's gonna be a pretty good day.
It's been a good day.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
I think it's worth mentioning that certainly we saw a decrease in the available funds this year. And I think you did a great job in, let's say, spreading the wealth. And every one of these hits visitors and residents alike, and that's the overall mission. I think you did a good job. Certainly the big one tonight is Mount Pisgah. But the way that little mountain appeals to all of us region-wise and is open to visitors as well, it's another good move. So, yeah,
Those small, just as a side note or context, those small mountains that get the kids started and make it affordable are so critical. I guess critical is not maybe the best word, but making it accessible to families. It's so reasonable to go there. My little nieces and nephews all started there. They all have season passes this year to Whiteface. I'm a skier, you guys all know that.
so I should
Yeah,
also
so
add
recreation
tonight,
is a great thing to support.
Val, I thank you for your letter and follow-up to Dick's asking about rates. I got confirmation today.
Oh, okay.
North Elba residents and Village of Saranac Lake residents share the same rates, and they send their heartfelt thanks for the money for that mountain. So we're doing good things.
And I'll also tell you that at the visitor center here in Lake Placid, we send people all the time for tubing, which we do for tubing, go skiing, same with the carousel in the summer, so we're definitely good.
Before I let you guys go, I want to plant the seed that we'll need a meeting, whether it's the Leaf Committee and UMJ and Jim, but we need to talk about if we're gonna really do like once a year, our flow of money has changed a little bit. And I don't want to put you guys through the process until there's a decent chunk of money there. So in my mind, I'm thinking that fall works out the best, whether it's September or October, so that money is generated for places to start their typical projects in the springtime. So to better lay it out for you, our next check from the county, starting in 2024, we will be getting revenues quarterly. And we are the only town out of the county because of the proportion. So it takes almost a year for me to accrue enough money to make it worth all the hours you guys put into looking at these applications. So I still have 7 months coming from 2023 because our last check only went through May. And then each quarter through 24, which will give me a good solid year's worth of money early next fall with 1 quarter to go, but that will go toward 25.
Do you think I agree with doing it once a year, as you know. However, maybe do the spring, because some organizations may be anticipating the spring, okay, with what the funds we have, and then in the fall again, and then start in 2025, just one.
We can give it some thought, but it's going to interrupt accruing enough money to make it worth the effort.
I'm just thinking about I understand, and I agree with you. I'm just thinking about organizations that are anticipating putting in grant requests in the spring.
And without, and I get what you're saying, but I've still got, or we've still got a little wish list.
Oh, yeah, no,
Some
that's the
of the
thing.
things we promised already.
I mean, and believing that what that is in the spring, whatever the dollars are, the dollars are.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. I mean, we're now working with decreased amounts anyway. So, but if we've got 2 or 3 organizations out there, whoever they may be, you know, anticipating hoping to get funds for the summer, you know, I still want to take that away from them.
Well, overall, as of, I believe, November 1st, occupancy tax as a whole was down just shy of $117,000 over last year.
Okay. I mean, so something we can consider, but I just want to throw that out there.
So collectively, maybe you guys hash it out, we'll do the same, and we'll come to a decision. But as for right now, I can't say when the next opportunity will be to accept applications. So we've got to keep it on the list.
Have there been any sort of forecasting by the county about revenues moving forward, even though we're down, but like what the forecast?
We're about 4% off this year over last year, and the trend is continuing to.
So what we did for our budgeting purposes is we projected towards the end of the year, through the end of the year, being down about 3.5, I think 3.8%. And then from that, we increased, that we did a 3% increase. So we.
Do you mean for 24, you did 3% increase over
The
what we
reduced
anticipated
number.
this year? I don't think so. I think 24 is going to be down compared to 23.
So
Occupancy tax.
Well, that's what we did, because there's 2 things going on. We have more of a pool, right? We have more rooms.
Yeah.
And we know that that's probably going to cause some competitive pricing from the rest of the hotels. But we think that we will still overall be about.
In a positive.
As long as it doesn't rain all summer.
Well, and that's the other thing we took into.
Way to be optimistic about it.
I mean, and that's the other thing we took into consideration is that, I mean, the chances of having another summer like that. And then also we are seeing quite a bit more group activity in 2024. So
Matt, the question.
Just a quick question. When does summer revenue surface? What quarter? Like, I just want to be sure if we have an extent of time that it can accrue the
So
summer
August is
tax
paid in
revenue.
October.
It is? Okay.
The county is at least 30 days behind in receipts, and then
Okay.
turning it out. And we don't get revenues once every quarter.
But as far as what, right, so we receive an occupancy check in October for August.
So the question is whether the group should meet to allocate $30,000 times 2 or $60,000 once
Right.
type of thing, correct?
It's really how often you want to meet. and
Well, let me ask you
spend.
this, because so now Briggs is up at every single meeting. We are supposed to have one round where bigger asks happen and then another round where smaller asks happen. Maybe just to kind of stick to Dick's point, maybe we say in the spring, the ask has to be under,
$30,000.
right, exactly, $20,000 or $30,000 or something like that. And if it's a bigger ask, it has to wait till the fall. Because then, to be honest, I'm just thinking from a volume perspective, like when we meet and talk about
Too
these,
much.
we're there
It's a
forever.
lot,
So if
yeah.
we could get these like 10, $5,000, $15,000 ones out of the way in the spring, it would make it a lot easier
Yeah.
in the fall.
Take care of the.
But it
I'll tell you what, Dick, here's what we'll do. I expect by the end of January to have the 7 months from 23. We'll know what we're working with.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
decide until we
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
caught.
But not to get everybody hopeful.
Hmm.
We have 70,000 and 50,000 allocated right now.
Gotcha. No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing is like Jim said, so we go through 15 applications twice a year, or we go through 30 applications once a year.
Yeah.
I personally would rather spend 1 full day doing it than 2 full days doing it. 1 full day, 2 times a year,
Right,
right?
yeah, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the second time I did.
Yeah, I know.
Three full days doing it once a year.
Well, and to be fair, it's like sometimes those little ones in our big meeting, we're like, ugh, it's $5,000. You know, like we were just saying, that was an excellent question you just asked about,
The wheel.
about the wheel and like the, you know, like,
installation.
and to be honest, MJ and I were like, oh my God, we should have totally caught that. Why didn't we look at that? But it was probably because we just talked about Mount Pisgah or the Snowmobile Association or something right before that.
Absolutely.
So when it came to $5,000, we're like, yeah, that makes sense, you know?
Right.
So I think we probably would be a little bit more diligent too if we took them in different buckets.
It makes sense too, so
For the
the,
record, we're very diligent.
We are very diligent. We are very diligent.
But we can always
But-
be more diligent.
Comparatively speaking, to $500,000, you know, sometimes $5,000 seems.
well, the mental health training, the portable AED, these are, and then the ironic carousel, those are like huge returns on investments on such a
Right.
nominal amount of
Right.
money.
Yeah.
So why make them wait a year when they
Right.
Right, and that was another thing I think we talked about was the timeliness. You know, there might be organizations, especially if we are changing the schedule and the spring one goes away, they might not be able to wait till fall,
That's the thing.
you know, so that.
That's exactly.
So before they go, how do you feel about moving into new business? And are you comfortable approving these leaf recommendations?
Absolutely.
All right, then I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Dick?
Yep.
Second by Rick. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. No one opposed, it's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You're still an impressive group.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can only have one.
Thing is quick about this. They're trying to do what they have, sort of thing. I mean,
Well,
basically,
we do that
that,
too.
yeah, but basically they're asking for a cabbage, yes.
Yeah.
That's
You can
all
only
they're
do
asking
it
for.
once.
Oh, well, you can do it.
No, that's all that's been already helpful.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, with the box. Yeah.
All right, we might as well move on with new business. So this is,
Sorry.
anything I should be on?
No. I was like, I was expecting.
It was about you, so.
All right.
Turn around so you can.
Can you pause that?
So this is the third month this next item has come up. And maybe it's not safe to assume, but I'm guessing we are ready to approve a pet policy that will become effective January 1. With that being said, is there like some discussion before we move in to a motion I will say that a part of this that I don't understand, I believe this needs, it can be a policy. Are we looking to make it a law or just an in-house policy?
I think it's I don't think you want to make it a law.
Yeah,
It's just a policy.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, it's the building policy.
Okay,
And it's very similar to what the school district
Yeah,
has.
there's no, I mean,
and to recap, I want to say, Rick, you did the research on this, and I think not only due diligence, but the explanation about support animals, therapy animals, service animals, that will all be posted in this policy. So there's no confusion on the part of people visiting or employees or whatever. As you know, I did run this by Art, and I got confirmative back that village is fine with moving ahead with this. With that being said, I'll take a motion to accept the pet policy.
So
Second, Dick, anything further to discuss? The description good with everybody?
I think, I mean, like I said, we've gone around this a little bit,
Right,
and
All
I'm good
right.
with the way it was, I mean, Rick added on to the original thing, but I think other than that, it's fine.
And I shared my perspective, but at the same time, we need something on the books. So and
Right.
how it's enforced and how we can apply it. We can have that conversation later on.
very good. So I guess I will need to follow through and get this policy done. Who's our policy committee?
Spider-Man.
So then I guess I'll leave it with you two guys to bring it to Kathy or Rose.
Yeah, okay.
To have it adopted. And maybe we'll need to do that at organizational meeting in January. After that discussion, all in favor? Aye. No one opposed, no one abstaining, so it passed unanimously. All right, next item under new business. I wanted to just touch base on where we're at with ARPA allocations. We continue to keep defining the money that we received, just so that as we move closer to, I want to say it's this coming fall, everything needs to be kind of on a list. We still have a pretty good amount of money available. I think I'd like to first talk about pickleball. As you know, we just spent $6,900 and put the crew up for a couple nights that came and put the anchor services in for the nets. Had to be done well in advance. What I learned from a company that does this for a business, unlike ourselves, highly suggested that relief cuts get put in both those slabs.
Okay.
But he couldn't echo enough that we really made the right move in pouring concrete slabs versus blacktop. He said blacktop patching and bringing the court back, virtually impossible.
That's what I thought. I mean, we were told otherwise,
Yeah,
that we should have gone for asphalt, and I'm going like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm no pickleball court expert, but just from material, it sounds like it's a better thing.
so anyway, in the spring,
longevity of paint was the only benefit.
That's right. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, in the spring, I'll get a hold of Gordy that poured the slabs.
Okay.
And they'll get their, they've got a laser machine.
Yeah.
And 2-inch cuts, longitude and latitude
Okay.
on each court. And then we might discuss, he'd like to know by the end of this month whether we're gonna do just acrylic paint or we're gonna do the cushion.
Well, to Emily's point in previous discussion on this, I would like, I mean, it's what was it, $20,000 difference?
21.6 for just acrylic.
Yeah.
41.2,
Yeah, so
something like that.
20,000. I mean, and to Emily's point that if we don't go with the cushion, it may deter some people from playing on it because they may be used to playing on padded courts, cushioned courts, padded. And I think, if we have the ARPA funds right now, and as I've said with the pickleball courts anyway, I think we should, the whole area, pickleball courts, volleyball courts, the whole bit, make it a park area, and included in that is do the best we can.
Here's what he told me about it, and I think I'm gonna defer to Rick for this statement. He said the data so far, he says, and I know pickleball's been growing for a few years, but the big usage, the cushioned definitely has data that suggests less injuries. Whether that's true or not, I have no way of knowing. If you plant your ankle wrong, it's gonna twist no matter what the surface is. So
It'd probably be easier on your knees, hips, and if it's depending on the demographic that plays predominantly, you might be able to enjoy it with less icing and whatever else after the fact.
do you guys have a feeling one way or another?
Like I said, I think the cushioning would appeal to more people and safety wise. And, just if we want to have a exceptional first class venue.
The life of the surface is the same for
Yeah, yeah.
10 to 12 years.
Right.
Some, he hasn't had any down for 15 years yet. It's just,
Let me reach out to the guy from Potsdam
okay,
who has 20 some odd courts,
yep.
and see if there's another reference to.
What about the ones in Saranac Lake? Do you know what they are? I don't.
I believe those are just a slab with a acrylic paint.
What are you thinking? You're pretty quiet tonight.
Are you tired?
I mean, as a dad, come on, are you tired?
I can see it.
I think, I don't know, I guess I'm gonna go back to what Dick said, that if we're gonna make the pickleball courts, then we should, create.
Make them the best we can.
Yeah.
If you look at them the way, if you were just to drive out and say, you're gonna do that to that court, it wouldn't make sense. But if you have the vision of what we're attempting to do down the line and being all encompassing, it seems to make sense. It seems to be.
Yep.
So that's my perspective.
Yeah, and as to bring the whole thing in, I had a discussion, very brief with Sharice down there and everything. I just keep use the term that I'd like to see it as a park.
Mhm.
Nice landscaping, as good as possible. And Kenny already took care, put in a parking lot for us, define that a little bit better with something,
A border.
but with a border, and just, make it nice.
Because the more groups you have out there, you don't have to just the people playing, you can have families and everything
Right.
else come out.
I mean, we've got these gorgeous lacrosse fields, and we've talked about cleaning the area up around there a little bit, but the fields are gorgeous.
Mhm.
And just extend it over to the left into that area, and just, you're surrounded by the trees and the pines and everything.
I'll get back to you by the end.
Good.
Bye.
Do you remember reading in the documents I sent you, the process of putting acrylic down?
Mhm.
I mean, basically boiling water to take care of that surface before even the first coat is put
Spraying,
down.
Yep.
And 4 or 6 coats for the cushion, 3 or 4 for the regular. Pretty neat process. But anyway, so conditionally, it looks like we're leaning toward cushion. And I'll get back to you all when Rick gets back to me.
That's good.
All right.
Injury rates
The other thing he mentioned when he was here, he said with just 2 courts, he envisions people waiting. He said, do yourself a favor, put a couple picnic tables up here, maybe the standard things where people can have a picnic or whatever. So those are things down the road or whatever to hold people there while they're waiting.
You can even put a shelter over it instead of just putting a tree.
You've got benches coming, don't you?
We got, that's in the budget to get 4 benches.
Yeah,
And what we could do is, I'm trying to think, picture it, but like we did at Newman Park with the picnic tables, put in a surface, but is it a slab or is it brick?
It's brick and there's grass.
Oh, pavers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'd rather put a slab down, you know what I mean? We could have whoever put a slab down,
So it stays
Couple.
neat.
yeah, a couple slabs and a couple picnic tables.
like at the beach out here.
Yes.
There's a slab.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. That's right.
So anyway, something to think about.
Unlike a lot of other sports, sorry to belabor this, but when there's 4 or 5 people playing pickleball and 2 or 3 people come, they include them.
Oh,
Unlike tennis, where we're using this court, you wait for us to be done. They do round robin games a lot.
Oh, okay, I got you,
Yeah.
okay.
But still, it'd be nice to have a place it's comfortable to sit.
Or also the volleyball courts too, if like you want.
Well, exactly.
Same thing. Yeah.
And it's a great place to ice your hamstrings.
Okay, so I got, I've
If
got
need be.
2 more things under ARPA, potential ARPA funds. I need to go back to fencing.
Yes.
Well, yes, but here's my,
I know,
here's my dilemma.
I think I know where you're going
I
with
think
this.
you need to leave.
Yeah.
You recuse yourself.
We've got 2 sites. One is Raybrook, where we ripped out all the bottom for that second production well.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's gotta be ARPA, but you know what it's been like for us at Raybrook in acquiring funds to keep that going.
Yeah.
We need the
So
fencing, yes.
in our,
For safety requirements.
and we have to box in our first production well on the hill,
Right.
plus put back up what was taken down
Okay.
where the trees were all cut.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, as we do our measurements for fencing, we might as well put that all under ARPA as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
But that'll be springtime, but I'm just trying to get it put on the list, so I got an idea. The other thing is, I was expecting either Glenn or maybe Pat from Beta to approach us for consideration for some money to help the bike trails at Craigwood as we try to prepare for 5,000 to 8,000 spectators that will be following this UCI biking event next September.
You're left with me, Derek.
Pardon?
You're left with me.
Oh, are you the rep?
I'm the board
I'm
rep.
sorry, Bob, I didn't even realize it.
Yep.
I'm Bob
Glassman. I'm on the Beta board.
Oh, okay.
I'm the board of Grand View.
Well, thanks for
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Good deal.
I just thought you came for the entertainment.
Yeah.
He's in my house. He's in my house.
That's right.
So I know it's preliminary, and before you get into the actual bike trails, I'll tell you, the last conversation I had with Pat went like this. In-kind service-wise, I'm yet to speak to Ken Porter, and I, maybe instead of me going to see him, because he hates to see me coming, I'll put the 2 guys on it that are highway. But in-kind wise, I brought up the idea of enlarging the parking area that is virtually, it only takes 6 cars and you're,
Mhm.
it's too congested in there.
Yeah. Is there
That's one
room
thing.
for it?
We have all the land we would need.
There's no limits on cutting or.
I don't know, we'd have to research that.
Definitely need some fill in there.
Right.
Yeah. But Phil won't be a big deal. So anyway, that's one way I think we can help tremendously with access, because parking is one of the big obstacles to this event coming. But I know little about the trail, so I'm guessing that's why you're here.
So we're not really concentrating so much on the UCI event,
Right.
but one of the things is that the trail system here is the oldest trail system that we've got.
Yeah.
It's 10 years old. At the same time that it's starting to show its age, some of the features, the constructed features that we have, they're just starting to fall apart just because of the lumber that was available to us at the time.
Sure.
Mountain bike trail construction technology has changed dramatically over the years. And we're also moving towards mostly trying to develop the trails for adaptive cycling too. Good example of that is what we did down in East Branch. We took all the 36-inch wide bridge planking out, for instance, put in all 48-inch wide stuff to accommodate some of these adaptive cycles that we've got.
Or
that we're
people
now
like
seeing.
me.
And my wife. But, it's just generally that it's a situation where they're being loved to death.
Yeah.
And they just need to be renovated and refreshed.
Okay.
And North Elba is not the only place that we're seeing this.
When would you be able to suggest something to us, whether it's price of lumber that you're looking at, so we can be a participant and, get you some help?
I just finished building a 50-foot long bridge on the Curry Trail in Elizabethtown. That lumber cost us $1,200. We had another $400 in fasteners. and special hardware. So
Yeah.
it's,
There was a couple different items in my last conversations with Beta, and I know signage was a big one, and certainly materials is the other one. So with those two, certainly the signage is equally important, so the degree of the rider is recognized, so they don't
yeah.
head on a trail they
Yep.
don't belong on.
Yep. Well, Roos is going to help us out with some kiosks and maps
Good.
for the trailheads. We have settled on a trail sign design. And we're probably just going to do, the printing directly on the coroplast kind of thing. It seems to hold up pretty well
Okay,
out, and we could probably get you some samples of what we're talking about there if you'd like to see those.
we trust your judgment. Yeah, you've forgotten more than we're gonna know about trail maintenance.
How about labor?
Labor's,
I know you guys do pretty well in
so
advertising.
we,
He's got a lot of free time.
Craigwood, for instance, we hired a professional trail builder.
Okay.
Derek mentioned the UCI event. They're hiring the same trail builder that we used at Craigwood. Really did a wonderful job there. But we've got a really, really strong volunteer group, and we have moved towards an online application or online registration for people to show up to the volunteer trail days. And we're typically just full.
Okay.
Within 24
I've
hours.
seen those, but I didn't know what your turnout was.
It's pretty good.
It's good.
Pretty healthy.
Excellent.
Bob, would it be too quick to ask if you might give a figure that you might be looking from us in January sometime?
I don't think I'd want to throw a number out right now.
No.
Yeah.
Certainly, the very latest would be spring, because as things come up, I keep allocating increments of this money, and I'm pretty damn good at spending money, so it doesn't last a long time.
It's burning a hole in his pocket.
That's like our slush fund.
Yeah.
That's like finding money. And it's American Rescue Fund's money.
Yeah.
But
We'll take every penny you want to give us.
I know. That's why just even a,
Yeah, we want to put funds aside,
Right.
but we don't want to go too much. We don't want to go too little, but, we don't have to know exactly, but we want a broad estimate. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Budget, so.
I'll talk to Pat and Glenn tomorrow,
sure.
and we'll see if we can get you a budget estimate.
And I mean, easy, like if you know there's 10 different wooden structures there, and it might be $5,000 in material, and you know that, I'm not including the parking lot, I think that's something in kind we can find time to help with. Maybe renting machines, I think Glenn was explaining to me about this small little 2-track thing that's like a.
Canicon,
Yeah,
a power buggy.
maybe helping you rent that for 2 weeks, I don't know.
Yeah.
And basic, we're not gonna hold you to something, but if I knew 10,000 would be an adequate number to get you in good shape, then I'd allocate it.
So we're looking for like a broad estimate and a brief description of what that would be going towards. That would seem reasonable.
Yeah.
And let me put it to, if I had it by March, that would be good.
Okay.
But I bet there's a few of you guys that can just plain think of 6 or 7 things. The thing I keep bringing up that is important is that I want a good assessment of that jump where the young lady was hurt on. That sticks in the back of my mind, and I want to know if that is strictly going to be for experienced riders or it needs to be modified somehow. I don't know much about that accident, but Dusty does.
Yeah. What specifically would you be looking for from us?
Just, I guess just a little wish list on how we can help.
Okay.
I mean, I know the labor, we could.
No, on the jump in particular.
To that point,
Yeah.
in riding those trails, there's always a bailout.
There's always a beeline.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'd really just like some kind of assessment on it, So I know that should something else happen, here's why I bring it up. Every year, we go through an assessment process with whoever is insuring our liability.
Right.
And we just got done with a risk assessment.
Mm-hmm.
So we are asked a myriad of questions on every venue that we have. That wasn't part of it, but because I know what we went through with the toboggan chute, where there are incidents each year, people bump their tailbone or whatever, it was an item of consideration. So anytime something like this comes up, I'd just like to have an assessment of it. And, you guys are the professionals in this.
To be out in front of it at least.
Yeah.
So that when it comes time that we don't put ourselves in a position.
Yeah,
where-
what you're asking for is not something we have talked a lot about.
Right.
Yeah, and that's exactly why there's an A and a B line. I'd be embarrassed to tell you how long I've been riding a bike. I don't need to go over or down some of that stuff. I'm the guy that's going to cheer the loudest for the person that does it, but
Yeah.
I don't feel a need to do that.
No adrenaline comes from it anymore.
Yeah. It's like what my friend Art said many, many years ago, as he watched this guy sail through the air over his head, and he just said, "I got to go to work tomorrow. I can't take the chance of not doing the landing."
Maybe circling back to what Derek's saying, is this feature up to what would be, we're assuming it's code, but if it's something that would lend itself to for future accidents to the point where it may impede the town, it might increase our costs.
That's all I'm concerned about.
Yep.
That's what we want to resolve that.
Yeah. I mean,
Otherwise, you can't
we've
help.
got signs up on an awful lot of features, but it's hard.
I mean, it's inherent with the sport.
Well, I think it's inherent with the person at risk.
Right.
You have a lot of people who think they're a better rider than they are, or the guy who's really, really good and just wants to push that little bit more.
Sure.
And it doesn't always work out sometimes, but yeah, let me.
I'm not looking for something critical, just an honest assessment.
Yep.
I think it
understood.
goes unsaid, but the UCI event is granted, they won't be riding those trails, but it's a perfect marketing tool. You get 5,000 people here that are going to be here anyways. And now they're on, A-class riding trails.
Yeah.
They're going to come back and spend money here.
And the new green jacket and gold jacket at Craigwood are probably the ones that they're going to come back ranting and raving about.
So,
Yeah, that's great.
They're great trails.
And it goes without saying, we can't thank Beta enough for how impressive they've been. I mean, everywhere, whether it's Tupper Lake or Keene.
It's not just us. I mean, it's a partnership with all the communities and
Yeah.
private landowners.
But we're appreciative. The energy level with Beta is unmatched.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
It's a good group.
yeah.
I don't know if you happened to see us cruising around town back in August for the 1,000 Animals social ride. It was an event designed for nothing more than to have fun. And I mean, there were 100 of us, and we all ended up at Jonathan and Megan's West Shore Barbecue. He opened up special, made sandwiches for us all, and we just sat out there and just had a fun time.
Yeah, good for you. No, well, very good, Bob. Thank you for representing.
You bet.
the group, And stay in touch.
Thanks for having us. I will. Thank you. Yeah. Have a good evening.
Okay, so that,
On the topic of fencing.
We almost made it through.
In seriousness. So our discussion with Mark the other day about the fencing at the volleyball courts,
oh, yeah,
should we consider extending it,
you mean back?
the back one? Because remember you said he put some of his own in there or something?
He told us.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it, only on one side. It's only from the back to that steep hill. That's where he put the orange on.
Okay, so again, we all love the orange fencing so much. It looks so
Yeah.
It's always better when it's by the
appealing,
beach.
appealing that maybe just something else, maybe we should
I
put
think
that
it's,
in.
I think it's only a 20-foot section.
Okay.
It's only 4 foot high.
Okay, so that, maybe next time we have some fencing done, have that.
Get your guy here and we'll do the tour. Yeah.
Get another hat.
T-shirt. Get it right.
Steve, if it had you at the federal level, you'd have a fence.
All right.
18 feet high.
Our next item on new business, we're going to skip. We're not ready for a resolution to approve road dedication. Do you want to talk at all about that?
No, I'm just moving through the process. That's
Okay,
the only
yeah.
update.
Is there a holdup or speed bump or?
It's more just, it's just about attorneys going back and forth.
Okay.
Is this spelled correctly?
The approval process has been accurate.
Let's see, we talked about that. We need to accept the audit and budget adjustments. I don't know if you've copied it. I've got this here. Kathy, thanks for hanging in there. Do you want to talk about budget amendments or audits?
Did you all, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, so I emailed the budget amendments to everybody as usual.
Yep.
Did you all have a chance to read through them?
Yes,
Yes.
fine tooth comb and looking at them right now.
The correct answer would be yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay,
Yep.
so there's a few large ones. The personal services for the town clerk, if you all have a question about that. That is because when we built the budget for 2023 and approved it back in November of 2022, that was before we hired Adrian and did the whole shifting around of duties for Chelsea and Adrian. So when that hiring happened, I went to the board. I'm like, we're going to have to put more money in the budget, but we'll wait until the time comes to do it. So this is the time. So next month in January, when we have to do budget amendments for the month of December expenses for payroll, there's going to be another one. Central services for equipment repairs and maintenance, that's all the Twin State stuff that we contract with Twin State for. We're over the budget for 2023. Next month, there's going to be another one. I guess I estimate, I know that they did raise their prices, but I must have estimated something incorrectly when we were doing the budget. Town
Well, if
garage,
that-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kath, that's fine.
Town garage equipment, when the Porters were on vacation, Chris Kennedy called me, said we need to get, or actually, Kenny actually called me because Chris called him, I guess, that their compressor went down and they needed to get one because they had to have it for the work that they do on trucks. So that's why it says it's an emergency purchase. Hospital and medical insurance, that is also related to the fact that we had a couple new hires in 2023 in the general fund that Jennifer Preston being one, and I think David, no, I can't remember who the second one was, but anyways, the picked up insurance that we didn't have enough in the budget to cover, so that's why there's that. That is December. We won't have that again next year, next month.
Okay.
And bottom line is there was extra money in all the electricity budgets and other places that we're not spending this year. I put excess 2024 budget. It should have said excess 2023 budget, so I apologize. I will fix that for Lori. What else? The Community Tourism Enhancement Fund, that was paid out in October. I just neglected to put it on the budget amendments for that month. I apologize for that. Highway, we're just moving money around for from paving and road repair to the snow removal. We do that pretty much every year. Community beautification, again, it's the same thing we've had pretty much all summer for the seasonal employees. And I don't know. I mean, I think they're all fairly self-explanatory. Does anybody have any questions about that?
No?
No.
All right,
Very good. Thank you, Kathy.
that's all I have.
Who hasn't signed?
That's me. I just need to grab.
Oh, no, that's all right.
It's a good one.
Here. I think that's fine. With that being said, I'll take a motion to accept both the audits and the budget adjustments.
Second.
Jason and Dick, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. No one opposed, carries. How about committee reports? Anything going on? I mean, we talked about pickleball,
Update on the toboggan chute.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you,
Go ahead.
between you guys, why don't you let people know that
Who are the electricians? I'm sorry.
Ampersand Electric,
That's okay.
Met with them last Wednesday, correct?
yes.
They walked the chute with, the two electricians walked the chute with Matt, St. Louis, and came up with a plan for putting the new lights up as versus the work lights that are dangling there now. So they found some problems up on top. We also looked at, Dick brought up appropriately so, the
Fencing.
the lighting. And it's been interesting because the past several mornings in walking that early,
Okay.
there is adequate light between the street light on Parkside and the two lights that are on the hill. If we cut out branches, the ones sort of tucked
Yeah,
in.
because the other ones, I had to find it.
Yeah.
I saw the base, you couldn't even see the light.
And then Matt has suggested some lights for the top that point down.
Yeah.
They're blocked by the roof so that there will be no leakage upward. And that should be adequate, even though your ideas, I think, were great with the
It's
post
those
lights.
solar post lights
Yeah.
guiding
So
it
we'll see
down.
what it looks like. But anything to add?
Yeah, if we, so who could, can we get the light department to do the trimming or something like that?
Yeah, I got a poll.
On the limbs, you mean? Yeah, they did it one year for us. In fact, when we cut a couple trees out of there, we wanted to take that biggest hemlock out.
Mhm.
Roby wouldn't let it go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you
and,
want me to reach out to Kimball, or I guess it's now
they just
Brad.
assigned, yeah. Oh,
Who is it?
Brad is,
Oh, really?
yeah, he's over everything.
every.
Okay, okay,
So,
okay.
Sure, if you're comfortable doing that.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, when they get done with Main Street and everything, I'll bet they'll just run the bucket truck. So they'd have to pull that down on the water, right?
No, it's the one right at the.
Right at the top.
Right at the top.
Okay.
It's 10 feet down from the walkway.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one, because when Rick pointed out, he says, you can't even see it. I'm going like, no, I can't. Where is it? And then I found the base.
Okay.
You can't see the globe at all.
That's the only thing that gives a
Okay.
gray or darker area in between the two lights.
Okay, and it was
Okay.
sufficient down at the bottom too? Okay.
Well, they always have lights down there.
That's, I'm wondering if they have enough.
Right.
Because remember, looking at the building, they've got 2 or 3 right here. I just didn't know if they were
That were
sufficient.
no longer there. Well, they're crappy little lights.
Those little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, those little ones.
I'll ask Matt if he's planning on
Okay,
putting
so-
another one there.
Okay,
Because that's important, there's a step up,
right.
so.
But a huge improvement. Toboggan chute's gonna
Oh,
look
yeah,
good.
yeah.
All we need is ice.
The sound system.
And also, if you're going to call them, I assume this would be under the auspice of the electric department, the Lake Placid entrance sign across from Price Chopper, one light is out. I
Okay.
don't know if that's them too, as long as you make the phone call.
Which one?
The one across from Price Chopper.
Price Chopper.
Yeah.
You might have left or right.
Emily, do you want to report on any of our,
I know, I'm like running through all the things, I'm like,
Swazo's gonna do our sidewalk?
yes, oh, that was one of the things, yeah, so we had two proposals for proposals back for RFP for the West Valley Sidewalk Engineering. And we met with Kenny and Brad and chose Swazo. So that contract is signed, right?
Yep.
So I'm assuming they're gonna start the work soon. They did come up here and meet with us about other things, so that was one topic.
Yep.
And then that's it, right? The only other thing I was thinking was
The master plan,
Yeah, the master plan for,
which is the 70 I was referring to that we need to take out of occupancy tax this winter.
that contract, you now have a hard copy of, you should, I asked Haley to bring you a hard copy of that.
Okay, I'll look for it.
But that is ready to move forward now too. We had a second conversation with them. Third conversation?
Did you share the scope of work with MJ?
Yes.
Okay.
One other thing was just to circle back to pickleball, not fencing. I saw you smirking. So have we, with the firm that's going to take care of all this, last meeting you stressed that that they want a contract. Did we sign a contract with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the surface to be determined.
However, here's how I left it. I only signed the 21,000 because at the time we still hadn't determined cushioning or not. That's why he needs to order aspects for the cushioning.
Okay.
And he said, boy, please let me know soon after the new year.
Okay, because as I said before in our previous meeting, if we have to sign a contract to do the work, sign the contract, so we're on the list as soon as, on the early, hopefully May or June.
Yes, 18 places.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And therefore we could, as soon as possible, turn the surface, but obviously we don't want to get him here in July.
Right.
That's the thing.
So we're just gonna wait for Rick to reach all the references and then come back to you and then
just
the decision, then you would communicate it to that.
That's right.
And when did he want to know that by?
He wants to know soon after the new year.
Okay, we could probably get it to it sooner than that.
And the reason why is because out of all those 18, he wants to order in bulk.
Right. Right. Oh, yeah, understandably so. But that's why I just want to get on his, granted, we're on his list, but I'd like to be up here as opposed to here, as far as timing.
Exactly.
After this, we should.
Yeah, we should be able to say, okay, yeah.
All right.
I'm headed to Florida next week too, and they've converted a lot of their tennis courts into pickleball courts. So,
whoa.
Oh, good opportunity to see what's going on.
Yeah, don't play, don't.
Is that a tax write-off?
Yes, yes.
So you can
You
get
tell your
mileage,
accountant I said it.
get mileage.
Right, I didn't realize that. PT money was like Dick Cummings money over there.
All right, before we get done, this is a time for a person's opportunity to speak. Justin, I see you've been very patient listening to us here.
I love listening. Thank you, Supervisor and town board members. The debate is wonderful, and the information that you pass along is excellent. Thank you very much. And I have reached out again to Stefanik's office on the post office in Raybrook, and they said yes, that they have been in contact with the regional people, but I think that they may be getting stonewalled like you were, Derek, when you talked to them as well.
Exactly. Getting money to move on any aspect of the mail service these days is certainly difficult. There's plenty of folks that have stepped up, as you well know, to help us out in Raybrook. And you'd really think just with the two prisons there and the volume of mail that it would rise to the top and be appealing. I guess I'll just keep doing the same like I'm doing. When I see assemblymen and senators at our county workshops, just keep it out in front of them.
Yep, Jonathan was the contact that I had in Congresswoman Stefanik's office up in Plattsburgh.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for your efforts as well.
Merry Christmas to the town board in North Elba.
You too.
Thank you.
Fred, press questions, anything like that?
I'm not here as press, but
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
All right, good deal. Thank you. With that being said, before we actually adjourn altogether, we're in need of an executive session. I'd like to discuss personnel, things we've gone through this week. I do not anticipate any decisions out of this process. So prior, I've, said to Lori, she's free to go. We'll just record times and people. Yeah.
Just motion to go in executive.
Yeah.
So we go into executive
Dick?
session.
And Rick.
Good night.
Thanks,
Thank you. Good night, Fred. Sorry, Fred.
Thanks for
Sorry for